I'm lost in darkness, searching for light. Every step forward feels like a fight. Shadows of doubt creep in my mind, but I refuse to surrender. I must find a way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. The weight of the world crushes me down. Fear and uncertainty all around. But I deep find inner strength to face the trials length by length. A way to rise above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes, like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my heart reborn. I've walked through fire and emerged scarred, but wiser, stronger, and unmarred. My existence is a test of will, of trials overcome, of a soul made bold. The way of the world, above the pain, to overcome, to break the chains. My existence is a test of will. I won't be broken, I'll stand still. Oh, made bold. Through every storm, I'll find my way. Through every night, a brighter day. I'll rise from ashes like a phoenix born. My spirit unbroken, my spirit unborn. Day to day, nothing changes. All I want is a moment to think clearly, but thoughts come unrelenting, consuming every waking moment. My mind binds me and I can't escape. I shout for help when no one hears me. One day I feel I'll just disappear. Lost in this chaos, I'm searching for peace.
Hey, greetings and salutations, everyone, and welcome to the Dirt Sheet Radio NXT Post-Show Rewind. It is April the 29th, 2025. I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster, here with little Molly Holly, and oh my God, it is a full house tonight. Gentlemen, let's go around the table here, introduce yourselves, let everyone know who you are. New face to the NXT crowd tonight, returning face for our NXT viewers tonight. CJ, you start, let's go around.
You know, it's the same as always, CJ Carter. I love talking NXT. The fact that we get to now have more people to bounce these NXT thoughts and opinions off of is going to be really good for Dirt Sheet Radio as a whole. So welcome, and welcome back.
I think you're muted.
No, I'm unmuted. Yes. Thank you, sir. Thank you, CJ. I missed you, CJ. I missed you, man.
Man, I missed you too.
I missed you too, Tyler. You
I
know how I
missed you
feel about
too.
you, Tyler. You know what I'm saying? You know how I feel about you, man.
It's nice to have you back, man. It's wonderful.
Yeah, man. Go ahead, Robbie. I'm sorry. It's your turn.
It's all good, and it feels good to be back here in not only just NXT, but just for the Dirt Sheet Nation entirely. I've been gone for about a couple months, been working my ass off at the shoot job. Earlier last month, I got the flu when I was ready to come back, but damn it, I'm back and I'm ready to go, and it feels good to talk about professional wrestling once again.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Well, welcome to the team, sir. Welcome. Now, we got a lot to cover tonight. Great show to break down for y'all. But before we do, got to give it up to the us on the web. That is dirtsheetradio.com for all of your entertainment, pop culture, professional wrestling needs, all in one convenient location. Check it out. Make it your homepage. Look at it multiple times a day. Just like we do. Where are you going, Molly? We're not done with the plugs. Just like we do. Not because we're legally obligated to do so, but because we love to do it. Okay, now you may burrow into the pillows, but you'll be back when it's Chase U time. I know you will. But yeah, guys, burying the lead there, but we'll get into it, guys. Big show tonight. We're just a couple weeks removed from WrestleMania weekend, Stand and Deliver weekend. We're just a few weeks away from Battleground coming up. So a lot on the horizon. And tonight's program came to us from the Performance Center in Orlando, Florida, where it so often does. And going into tonight's program, we had a few advertised things, matches. They kind of online. I don't know if y'all saw this. They blew the whistle on the main event tag match tonight online. Shawn Michaels tweeted about it before they actually announced it on air. But we started with a quick recap of Stand and Deliver, and very quickly on commentary, Vic Joseph mentioned the name of Joe Hendry.
And what happened, Tyler?
Well, as the prophecy foretold, you say his name, and he appears. We believe in Joe Hendry. Gentlemen, what'd you think of this opening segment here? Joe's promo here that he cut. He cut into Trick pretty hard.
Absolutely. I love Joe Hendry. Definitely thought this promo was exactly what would help get me invested in this feud with Trick that's evolving. The Dark State attack. Um, I don't know. It's really becoming the week after week. Um, it's growing stale. So we really need to see this group evolve into something else. No pun intended.
Don't sick them on the kids on Evolve. That's mean. I can't handle that there.
It's a nice bar. I like that.
Didn't this feel kind of like it was almost a few weeks ago I had said that I felt like they were leaning towards Trick being the leader of Dark State. Then obviously it didn't really go that way as like he was involved against them. But this almost felt like that again. Like it was leaning back towards them working for Trick.
I can totally agree with that because we'll obviously talk about it later on. You can see the elements that potentially for someone like Trick to be involved with Dark State, and Dark State is the ones taking out people like Obafemi, taking out Trick, Javion, basically everyone that is basically what I will say the adversaries to Trick Williams. It's sort of like, and I will agree with CJ on this one too, where they do need to evolve into something, not like get on to evolve. But I remember when they first came to NXT and everyone's like, oh my God, is this going to be the new Nexus? Because he started out like that. But I will say it is starting to get a little bit more stale, to get a little bit more character in, point out why they're attacking. Because at this point, there's just random attacks for no reason with no attached storyline to it. And that can make it really stale.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I agree. I hope Trick is the leader for them because if you want them to evolve, the best way to get them evolve at a rapid rate is to put them with an established superstar already, which would happen to be Trick Williams. And from what I'm seeing, Trick Williams is headed towards the heel territory. So the best thing for him to do, especially if he wants this title so bad, like in my opinion, I don't think he could be Obafemi 101. That's pretty much established to me at this point. So the best way to get his title back and for it to be relevant is to put him with the Dark State. So I'm here for it.
Yeah.
Just one of
Yeah.
those, it worked for the Shield. Like, remember when they came up and they kind of anchored around CM Punk initially? If this anchoring around Trick Williams is what gives them that same sort of rise, I would love to see where that goes.
Yeah, it's definitely a solid direction for them to go for sure, and we will definitely get to it. But I think the Trick's definitely lean into that heel territory, especially after his promo tonight. He was not nice this evening. Um, but gentlemen, anything else on tonight's opening segment with Joe Hendry and the attack by Dark State?
I just want to
When it-
say, oh, go ahead, Robbie. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Okay. So with Joe Hendry, he obviously came in. He had to cut deep on Trick Williams. He had to also cut deep on him beforehand within recent weeks with their little feud. And plus, he had to say something when it came to what happened at Rebellion after Joe Hendry had defended his TNA World Heavyweight Championship, which, my God, it feels good every week saying TNA World title right on WWE TV. But however, he needed to get his words through because we can tell this is going to lead possibly either at TNA or Battleground, Trick versus Hendry once again. And maybe this time, if Trick doesn't win the NXT title next week, we're going to go ahead and get Trick and Hendry for the TNA World Heavyweight Championship, in which that will help Joe Hendry get over more because honestly, he's been over. The gimmick itself, the evolution of what he's been doing since the ICW days, all the way that led into Mania with Randy Orton, keep doing it, man. Like his promos are excellent. He's over as hell. I can't wait to see more out of Joe Hendry for sure.
Yeah, man. Speaking of seeing more out of Joe Hendry, I'm not a TNA fan, so I don't watch. Let's keep it real. So I haven't seen much of Joe Hendry except for the crossovers with NXT and of course the internet stuff. I said on 3T Wrestling this past Sunday that Joe Hendry makes me want to punch him in the face. I don't know why.
Oh my God!
Like, he makes me want to punch. Like y'all know me, man. I'm a heel guy. Like he makes me want to punch him in the face. In saying all of that, he won me back tonight with that promo. It was an amazing, emotional promo from him from a side that I haven't been able to see yet. So it definitely got me more interested in what Joe Hendry has to do. So salute to Joe Hendry for that promo. It was amazing.
Oh gosh, yeah. Punchable face is not the best trait for a baby face to have.
Does he
generally.
not? No, let me ask the panel here. Does he not have a punchable face?
He does, because honestly, before he was even a big baby face, he was a huge heel over in the UK. So I can see why you say to punch him in the face.
It's that smile, like it's as endearing as it is punchable.
Yeah, thank you. It's a smile.
Yeah, it's. Oh yeah, goodness. On the question, I'm not. Is Hendry in that battle royal? We'll get to that. We will get to that later. We've got the graphic. I'll dig it up as we get there. But there's a lot of people in that graphic, so we'll see. But all right. So from there, we were at the
No,
backstage.
he is not.
He is not okay. All right. So then the answer is no. We do not believe he will be winning that battle royal if he is not in it. But up next, we had a earlier today segment in the backstage area where Jordan Grace approached Iyo Sky as she was speaking to Ava, saying that she had not found a tag team partner for tonight yet. Jordan Grace offered her services as tag partner and nearly broke Sky's hand during the handshake.
She's strong.
She is. She's frighteningly strong. Frighteningly strong.
She's a juggernaut.
That she is. She is. Also, backstage, we had Carmen Petrovic speaking with Tatum Paxley and Gigi Dolan. Tatum and Gigi licking their wounds after their recent losses, and Carmen kind of hyping them up. And during this, Ashante, the Adonis, bombed into the scene and told Carmen that she had her got her a match against Sol Ruca for later tonight, which she didn't seem that amped about, that it was with like zero notice. And he said, after you win this, we'll have ourselves a title shot, and then we'll be champions. So he was pushing her to take this match, and yeah, he's a dick. CJ, we know your feelings on Adrian the Adonis.
my thoughts have literally been the entire, or have been the same the entire time. And actually, I was going to expand more on the, um, on those thoughts or after Petrovic's match. But what I'll say so far is, spoiler alert, my thoughts have not changed.
Yeah, yeah,
Thanks
yep.
for the update.
Oh, trust me, there's more to it.
I
We'll
can't
get
wait.
there.
I can't wait.
Don't worry, CJ. I feel probably the same way as you do when it came to Jericho with the Ring of Honor World Title. So I feel you.
Uh, all right. So, all right, we are rolling into our opening match tonight. We had the television star Alexis King, fresh off of losing the Heritage Cup last week, taking on Ricky Saints, getting himself a shot at the North American Championship. Solid match here. Not super long. Went 8 minutes 25 seconds, I believe. Predictably, Ricky Saints picking up the win here and retaining that championship. Uh, we'll start with Malik, man. What'd you think of the opening match tonight?
Thought it was a good match. I was surprised to see a good match from Lexis King. I'm not gonna front.
He's getting better.
Yes, that's why I was going to ask the panel. Actually, I was going to ask the panel how they felt about Lexis King in my absence and how much he's grown. Because from what I see, hey man, look like the boy moving up. Heritage Cup, he had that. He's getting the NXT title shot, not NXT title, North American title shot. Look like the boy is doing a lot better from the last time I saw him. So if you can fill me in, what is your opinion on his rise so far?
I think he's improved leaps and bounds. They did that whole false redeemer arc with him where he, fakely turned over a new leaf and he was a good guy and would do things the right way. It really didn't work out for him, so he fell straight back in way harder to his heel ways. And I think the audience started to buy into it. And just as they started to believe him, they flipped it back, and I think that actually made them hate him so much more. And he has improved in the ring too.
Yeah, I saw. Yeah, he
That's
definitely did. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like he has done really great work as far as in ring goes. His presentation from day one has been stellar. So hopefully he actually starts to pick up even more momentum. I wasn't on last week. I didn't get to say shout out to Noam Dar for coming back and winning the Heritage Cup back. I know it means a lot to him. Uh, but hopefully this leads to something good for um, Lexus King.
yeah, and I'll agree with the rest of them. Lexis King's in-ring work, it is getting better and better. You can even see it through social media that he's just like his dad when it comes to work ethic. He is working very hard at what he's doing, and especially when you get more match time, more seasoning on into your in-ring work. We've seen it with Dominic Mysterio on the main roster, where he's at from the beginning, and now where he's at now. He's going to get continuing better and better, and eventually Lexis King is going to be a huge asset and a star for WWE in the future, and he'll be just like his dad. But however, one thing I do like about Lexis King is he's not carrying the fact that his dad is Brian Pillman as well. He's doing this all on his own without even mentioning his dad, which is excellent in ring work and great in character abilities as well.
Yeah, but yeah, he's a lot better. Yeah, he had a hard start. He had a hard start.
Mm-hmm.
From going way back to when he like snaked his way into the breakout tournament, and he's come a long way in that time. And despite how far he's come, tonight was not his night, and he did not best Ricky Saints. Ricky Saints, who I did not call Ricky Starks tonight, but it did just occur to me that I called Ashante the Adonis Adrian the Adonis like 3 minutes ago, so I have to call myself out on that one. God damn it!
That's another quarter in the swear jar,
Oh
something
God,
like
that
that.
if we had something like that for every time I missaid a name, I would. Oh, that'd be rough. I got 4 kids. You can't do that to me, CJ. That's
I might,
oh God.
I don't know. Now that I think about it, I might be like a jinx for Lexis King because every time I'm on the show, he loses. So just realize that. So, hey, Lexis King, I'm sorry, brother. I'm rooting for you, man.
Trying. Man, like just the aura of your approach caused him to lose that cup last week.
Yeah,
He just like it was
and I've been a Lexis King supporter.
right from go. Like
It's crazy. Okay.
oh man,
Self-evaluation.
The one thing that I will say about this match, though, right at the start, they had the ref ring the bell when King wasn't even in the ring. Like, he just looked at him, standing on the outside, and then it's like, oh, I'm gonna tuck his jacket over here, ring the bell, and then he sneaks in behind him. What the hell is the ref doing?
you
That is some gross negligence or incompetence.
yeah, yeah, little
You
call,
got it in your
little.
pool.
Yeah, it's a hard job. They can't see very well out of at least one eye. Typically, it's a referee, right? Like it's unfortunate.
Oh, oh, of course, and then they never hear out the opposite side's ear.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They have a very like it's like like a horse can only see like directly like in front with the blinders. So it's like that. It's like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But all right, so our progressive spotlight segment this evening featured on the information bush, or as WWE prefers to call them, the culling. I'm never going to give up the information bush. It's not a learning tree; it's an information bush. But this was Sean Spears just kind of giving everybody a bunch of crap for losing so much over the last few weeks. But I like this. I like these segments. I've said this a few times on air. This has made me enjoy Sean Spears. I think this is a good role for him. I think this is a good role for everyone, that's residing within the information bush at this moment. I think it's a good fit for everybody. I think NXT does a great job of using the faction concept to help elevate stars and eventually break them out individually. But y'all, what'd you think of this little segment here as they lick their wounds?
I thought it was pretty damn good. I mean, the way Sean Spears also has been delivering his promos with the culling or information bush, whatever the hell they're called right now. But however, the way Sean has been delivering these promos, these vignettes, he's doing what Jake the Snake used to do back in the 80s and the 90s when he would cut a promo, and that's being very soft spoken. Like, usually when you see a heel leader get pissed at their boy, at their faction, they're sitting there yelling at him, berating him. Instead, he's going ahead and he's being soft spoken and he's coaching them, saying, "If you don't want this to happen again, this is how you do it." And that's what I loved about this whole segment. There was no yelling, no berating. It was an actual coaching and strategy of what to do to stop losing.
Yeah, I agree. I love the segment too. It was great to see Sean Spears like as an actual leader because early on in NXT, it would kind of be like floated around. Like he'd give like little hints here and there. You couldn't necessarily tell who he wanted to coach.
Mm-hmm.
But now that he has his own group and he seems like a strong leader, like that's what I would want if I was in a faction and I was looking to a vet for advice. No matter, even if I like what he's saying or not, just to 100% honesty on the situation from him. He's not yelling. He's soft spoken. Most of the time, soft spoken messages get over a lot more than somebody just yelling at you. So I love that segment from Sean Spears.
Now, do we think any of his current disciples are on the bubble?
I say Ava Rain for sure. So because if you look at what she's been able to do,
Izzy Dame.
Izzy Dame, my bad.
Ava Rain's
Ava Rain is the
GM.
Yeah.
Oh man, Tyler's gotten to me. But what Izzy Dame was able to do at that ladder match at Stand and Deliver, she showed so much promise. Like she was sitting there trying to take everyone out. She was also doing those big high spots without care. She has definitely got potential within that women's division, and I want to see more out of Dame because she can go. And just seeing how what she was able to do at Stand and Deliver, that sealed me of this is going to be the disciple that's going to take the culling to where it needs to be.
Mm-hmm. She's got size too, and she's someone that like I think CJ, was it during the watch along that we had said this, or was like when she came on the scene, they made it seem like we should all know who she is, like she was this massive deal. Um, and she's come a long way. As far as everyone in the calling, I'd say that she's the one that's probably the closest. Brooks Jensen and Nico Vance aren't really close to there. Brooks Jensen, son of Bull Buchanan. I'm going to say that every single week. Brooks Jensen, the son.
B squared.
Yeah. Yes, Tony, you were there at the birth of the information bush and the educational shrub. There's a whole bunch of stupid shit we've said about this team. The calling though, the calling's not a bad name either. Like I honestly can't complain about that as a name. But to kind of touch back on what you guys said, I agree. The soft spokenness of the promo was really good. Spears being really unheelish in this promo. But it did kind of walk that line of the I'm not angry, I'm just disappointed, which is so much worse. It's so much worse.
It's so much worse.
But better, I think, for what he's trying to achieve. Like I think he would rather give off that energy instead of that I'm very angry with you.
Mm-hmm.
But real quick, before we move on, I'll throw it out to the panel here, kind of to a little span or touch on what CJ asked. Not just on the bubble. What do you think is the overall direction for the members of the calling here? Like, what do you see for them over the next, let's say, 3 to 6 months?
As far as the tag team division goes, Hank and Tank are gonna want to set themselves up as credible champions. So I think if they're gonna set themselves up as credible challengers and want to challenge for the belts, then I think that's really the only time they're gonna have a chance to bring gold into the culling. So if Sean Spears is looking for results now, 3 or 4 months at best. As far as the women's division, yeah, Izzy Dame is really going to have to stand out. This would have been an opportunity, her getting involved in the main event, to establish some kind of dominance over anybody. Would have been a good button for this segment. But, maybe they'll capitalize on it next week.
Right. The Dark State. Let me heal and heal. The Dark State's going to have keep tangling up with people though. But yeah, it's they've got a lot of talent. Yeah, CG, you're right. The tag division's locked up right now for a little while. Mm-hmm. I would hope at least that they don't pull them off of Hank and Tank.
Quick, everybody go buy a Hank and Tank shirt right now.
Believe me, what we're saying, man?
Not yet. I just got back. I gotta see. I'm not the biggest Hank and Tank fan.
Oh,
I gotta see. I gotta see. I'm gonna give it time. I just got back. I'm gonna give it time. I'm not gonna go crazy on him yet. I just got back. I'm gonna go ahead and agree with Robbie though. The reason why I agree with Robbie and I think this group is going to hinge on Izzy Dame's success is because if you watch Monday Night Raw and you watch the main event tonight, you realize, in my opinion, there's going to be a mass exodus of NXT divas going up to the main roster, in my opinion, just from what I see. It's the perfect time to showcase Izzy Dame. So if you want to think about where the group is going, well, if you say the tag division is locked up, the person who seems to have the runway to become the next star is Izzy Dame, in my opinion. So I would say that.
And honestly, too, it's going to be a slow build, too, for Izzy Dame as well, because you still got the NXT Women's North American Championship, because she was very close of getting that title eventually. I do foresee them at least pushing her sometime during the late spring or into the summer just for that title, just to see where she can go. And then if
Yeah.
she does an amazing success with that reign, that's when that potential of being the NXT Women's Champion is going to be too. Because we also got to look at it too. You got Tiffany Stratton over there on main roster. You saw what Tiffany was able to do in NXT. She was only in WWE since 2021, and now she's one of the headliners to WrestleMania. Izzy
Right.
Dame could do that if she puts in that same work with someone like Sean Spears, who also has that intellect to help her push up. After all, Sean Spears has trained a lot of guys over in Florida as well, with alongside Tyler Breeze, and also just that whole back of the PC having that intellect of Shawn Michaels. If Izzy will sit there, listen, and take that advice and take whatever she can, the sky's the limit for her. She's got the athletic ability. Some more promo work, I won't see why we won't see her as an NXT Women's Champion within the next 2-3 years.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. So going, I'm being mildly assaulted right now by Celeste. She's a good kitty. Like I said, a lot of animals in this house, guys. But up next, we had a quick recap of everything that has gone down lately between Channing, Stacks, Lorenzo, and the Don, Tony D'Angelo, and that led us into our next segment, a what was billed as a face-to-face between the Don and Stacks. Ended up being more of a ring to bridge. Guys, this I dug this promo on both sides. I think talking about people that have come a long way in NXT. Tony D is one of those guys. When we started doing these recaps, Tony D, I always enjoy a good mob character, but it was so just like it was the character. It was all the cartooniness of it. And he has developed into a more realistic version of that. He's come a long way in ring. His run as North American champion was really good, I thought. And I think that character and that promo ability continued to shine through here. And same with Stacks. Like, he really brought it here tonight, showed a depth and kind of a sinister edge to it. I was afraid. So I was afraid that Luca was going to be coming out of a trunk going over that bridge, but I think Luca Crusifino is unfortunately buried in the desert.
Got whacked.
Yeah, he's gone. He's gone. But yeah, and then before it was all said and done, Tony D attacked by security. So showing here that Stacks has some people on a payroll himself. Establishing that Tony doesn't know who he can and cannot trust. I thought all the big Italian dudes behind him were about to jump in, but they didn't. Thank God, because I don't think most of those guys could really move that fast. I think they work at the restaurant that the family hangs out at. But guys, what'd you think?
It's a family business, Tyler. Of course
it
it
is.
Family business, man.
Yeah, come on, man. You already know.
Hey.
But
Yeah.
but I actually love that segment. That was one of my favorite segments of the night by far. Except, obviously, we were talking about Trick. That was my second favorite. But I said this in a chat earlier that night when that was going on after I had gone off the air. And you're right, Tony and Channing, man, they have come a long way. Also, don't mention we also got to finish too. They've been through a lot together.
Mm-hmm.
Luca, Channing, Tony, Rizzo, they all went through a lot. And then I said it in the chat where it was they're taking the Sopranos approach to this whole thing because in the Sopranos, for spoiler alert for people if they haven't watched it,
I
you have
haven't yet.
Tony,
I'm
who's also the Don.
I'm only on like season 2. Hold on.
Oh yeah.
Oh
So
man, I was just about to start.
Go ahead.
so
Go ahead.
how
Go ahead.
so basically it's essentially like that. Tony D'Angelo is starting to lose power. He doesn't know who he can and can't trust. Channing was the first one to finally go and turn. He's taking out Luca. Rizzo's in hiding. There's no one for Tony to trust. And that's what they did in The Sopranos. They're taking a Sopranos approach, and I absolutely love it. For those who had ever seen it or have seen it and they know what I'm talking about, so I won't spoil it for Malik. It's in there. It's right in there. And I absolutely love it. And I just can't wait to see where it goes. Hopefully, we get some of Channing's guys, we get some of Tony's guys, whoever's left. Luca returns, or Two Dimes comes back, whoever it may be. I want to see family versus family. Big ass match at the end to pay it off, and we'll finally find out who is the real Don of NXT because Channing said it. He was sick of Tony D'Angelo's shit and he wants to become the Don.
Does this end with anybody moving north to the main roster?
Possibly Tony. If we kind of look at it.
I had a question for the panel. I had a question, and I'm glad you said, Robbie, I like you. That's why. So I was going to say there can't be two. And if you know anything about gangster movies, mobster movies, somebody got to get whacked.
Mm-hmm.
So I was going to ask, do you feel it's time for Tony D'Angelo to be elevated to the main roster? Because this feud that he has with Stacks, this is a perfect time to go ahead and whack him so he's not on NXT anymore and move him up. CJ, Tyler, Robbie, do you feel like he's ready to take that next step?
I feel that way because it is time for the mid card and the WWE to get a little bit of a shakeup. Because right now, that mid card on the main roster, with the exceptions of what you got with Gable, El Grande Americano, Penta, Phoenix, we need more of a shakeup with someone who's not going to take anyone's shit in the mid card. And Tony's your guy to do that. It's time to him now, instead of becoming the Dawn of NXT, to become the Dawn of either Raw or the Dawn of SmackDown or the Dawn of all of WWE. And I think it is time to finally elevate him up.
Yeah, I think he can definitely um, like we had talked a bit about how his persona really feels like it can only work in NXT, but because he's made those changes to be a more grounded and real version of the character, I agree. I think that he would be able to flourish on either Raw or SmackDown as this more serious version of Tony D'Angelo.
Well, and if on moving to the main roster, if they need to give him a little bit of a kind of association star power bump, they did establish that he is literally related to Nunzio. So they can always play that card to give a little nostalgia familiarity with him as well. So yeah, I think he could do well up there. I have to kind of take back what we said, CJ, where we talked about that, how this was one of the gimmicks that we didn't think could really function. But yeah, he's de-cartooned it over the years, and I look forward to what's going to go down between Stacks and Tony D.
Can I ask another question? Because I haven't been here for long. I'm so curious. Like I don't know. So, what was the turning moment for you guys? Because I remember, like, what I'm saying, you guys thinking that this character wouldn't work on the main roster last time I was here. What changed your perception of that? Was it the face run that he's had, or do you feel like he's humanized himself and connected himself more with the audience, with the character that he's in, with that face turn? And is that the reason, or is there something else?
I'd say for me, it definitely did happen within that face turn, because it was after that Heritage Cup loss, and then sometime into that North American title run, where I don't know, like I feel like maybe he stepped up his in ring a lot then, and they still did do the really heavily produced segments, but they didn't feel as over the top. I guess, but yeah, I think his face character that was it. I didn't really think about it. It just kind of happened so organically. But yeah, for me, it was probably about I don't know, about a third into that North American title run where it really clicked, and I was like, okay, this works. This works. It got endearing. That was part of it too. They when they played the whole kind of Rocky angle with him and Obafemi about like, well, I'm not afraid of him anymore. It was good. It was good, and too like. They're so, and they had to do it, but like they're selective about who beats Obafemi. Yeah, they're real selective about it.
As they should be. Yep.
Absolutely. And so it's important that he beat Obafemi, and it's good that he's been successful since being booked to beat Obafemi, because you don't want to waste something like that. And that might have been it too. It could have been the perception of just beating Obafemi that helped you like, oh, it's a big deal. But like, yeah, I'd say it was definitely within that North American title run in the face turn. CJ, when was he clicking for you?
I don't know that there was really a particular moment. I think it was just the even when you were talking about like setting up the premise of going around and talking about it, I was like Stockholm syndrome. Like just it wore me down.
Uh,
Like I just became acclimatized to it and appreciated it and didn't even realize that I was appreciating it. Something to that effect.
fair enough. Fair
Yeah,
enough.
it's fair. Yeah.
But all right, all right. So guys, we're going to go from something that I think was dramatically enthralling to something that ended up being kind of heartbreaking. So they recapped Noam Dar's return last weekend, recapturing the Heritage Cup from Lexis King, and they showed him in the backstage area in the dressing room with Oro Minza and the rest of the Metaphor, Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend there. But guys, Metaphor, no more. Lash basically said that everyone needed to go their own separate ways, and which is kind of weird that like why Lash and Jakara gotta go their own separate ways. Like, I don't
Yeah, it is
understand
Yeah,
that.
confusing.
Like
really
why she
confusing.
like but she said she's like, oh, we're all like, she even said like they were doing this too. It's just like, well, why? And Oro's over on Evolve, which okay, but like, so yeah, so I guess it's just Noam Dar and the Heritage Cup. It's just them together again. But guys, what'd you think about this? A formal end to the Metal Four. They'll still be friends, but they're not going to be calling each other as on the weekends as much. I guess I don't know.
I'd be lying if I said I wasn't just a little bit bummed. I heard I didn't catch last week's episode, but I'd heard that Noam Dar had come back and reclaimed the Heritage Cup, and I was like, oh yeah, we're gonna see some, the Metaphor reunited, and then this is what we got, and I just had to really absorb that they're going their separate ways. Tyler, I very much had the same reaction that you did when it came to Jakara and Lash going their separate ways.
Mm-hmm.
I thought they were doing fairly well as a tag team.
Yeah.
Like they not only have really got that support from being in Metaphor together, but the women's tag team division still needs solid representation. Like
Yep.
right now, it's kind of being hot potatoed as a prop for Becky Lynch and Lyra Valkyria to
Yeah.
sell their feud, but um, it still needs that serious representation, and
Mhm.
those two have great chemistry as a team. So unless they have plans for maybe Lash on the main roster and they want to keep Jakara down in NXT a little longer. What do we think on that?
Well, that was going to be my question as to what you thought the direction for both Jakara and Lash was going to be. So you think that's how you would feel that the likely plan is that it would be Lash moving up and Jakara sticking around on developmental.
Well, and we've talked more about Lash on these shows than we have
That's
Jakara.
true. That's true.
Mhm.
She stands out so much more. She has that it factor.
Mm-hmm.
She's
Yeah.
already had some incredible jaw-dropping moments. Like her slamming Otis
Yeah.
still gets replayed.
Yeah.
So it's good to see, but it doesn't really do Jakara any favors. It doesn't
No.
help her stand out. So maybe now that they've got them going their separate ways, this will be Jakara's opportunity to really create something for herself.
Mm-hmm.
but I am glad that Oro is landing on his feet in Evolve because I have not watched it. I keep forgetting that it even exists. So I was very much worried for him. But no, if he's killing it down there, then props to him. Um, I guess metaphor is meta done.
And I gotta agree, it was kind of a bummer because if you kind of look at it, Noam Dar, that was about the only thing he had going for him besides the NXT UK Heritage Cup when he was brought back in NXT after NXT UK had folded. And I feel so bad too for Noam Dar, and I just hope that he doesn't get lost in the shuffle again. Because when you look at it from where Noam Dar's standpoint is, he's been there since the fucking Cruiserweight Classic. He was a former WWE Cruiserweight champion, put on 205 Live, then got booted down to NXT UK, now brought back to NXT. When do we see Noam Dar finally getting that spotlight to get on the main roster? Because he's now been in NXT essentially now for, let's see, that was 2016, it's 2025 now. It's almost been 9 years, almost a decade, and he's been under the contract that long. I'm surprised he hasn't wanted to leave yet. And I just hope that this doesn't affect Noam Dar where he's at. Lash Legend, I can see her going to the main roster. CJ's right; she has Nick Factor, and imagine the matches she could be able to have, especially against one bad bitch and Jay Cargill, of what that can do for that SmackDown roster. And Chikara, she does need a little bit more seasoning. And Oro, I haven't seen much of Oro really inside the ring to know what he's all about unless I turn on to Evolve. So I just really hope they don't screw Noam Dar in the end of this. I really do hope so. He's such a tremendous talent. He's been in the business for such a long time, been employed by WWE for almost 10 years. They need to do something with him. He at this point I say he's ready to go to the main roster because he's been there for forever.
Yeah, yeah.
So to answer Tony's question, Noam got injured, and then to pivot to address Robbie, that injury to Noam fueled Oro to a hell of a match with Ethan Page shortly after he debuted. So if you want a good showcase of what Oro is capable of, I highly recommend that match. It was I'm trying to remember if it was 2 weeks after that Stand and Deliver.
Mm-hmm. God, was that long ago? Good grief. Wrestling moves so fast.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I'm
Oh yeah,
trying to remember.
I'm still trying to catch up with everything that happened on WrestleMania week, so I know the feeling.
Uh,
Yeah, man. At first I was sad, but then when I actually like had a minute to like decompress and think about Metaphor breaking up, I'm not sad anymore because it's a coronation of WWE feeling like everybody in this group has the potential to be a future
mhm.
star for them. So it was okay for them to end it this way. Like I think I saw Tony's somebody ask why they did it in this way. When you have a coronation of stars who have proved themselves in Noam Dar's absence, like let's not forget that.
Yeah,
Like
he's been gone for that long.
Yeah.
Aura and Lashing, they've proven themselves in his absence to show that they can handle the workload and doing their own thing. I'm not cool with them splitting the girls up though. I think they need to stay together. And I'm kind of thinking that if they bring Lash up, they should bring Jakara up too, because I'm thinking about Naomi's heel turn, and if she needs people, they would be perfect for Naomi.
Mm-hmm.
Especially with the heat that they had with Jay Cargill, they'd be perfect for them. So maybe that's what this is. Maybe this isn't necessarily us seeing the end of them as a tag team. Maybe like CJ said, they want to see Jakara maybe go on her own, see if she can establish herself a little more before moving her up to that. But honestly, I'm happy hell of happy for all of them that this moment did come for them, because now we get to see what they're truly made of.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
to what Malik said too, we also got to think about this. We've been hearing the rumors too that Liv Morgan, who's already one half of the women's tag team champions, she's about to go to Hollywood for a little bit. So they do need another tag team to come rise up for Liv and Raquel to kind of go against if they go for that pivot when she comes back, because we don't know how long Liv's going to be leaving for, because we do know that she's set to be in a huge Hollywood movie role soon.
Yeah, yeah. We'll see. We'll see what the future holds for him. But all right, so moving on, guys. So the next match we had the aforementioned match earlier. Sol Ruka taking on Carmen Petrovic 1-on-1. This was pretty short. Went just about 3 minutes and 27 seconds before the North American Championship won this non-title match. After, though, this is the real story here. After, we had a bit of a breakdown and a break up as Ashante was berating and admonishing Carmen Petrovic, and she just laid his ass out with a kick. So that's it. They're done. It's over. The relationship is over. CJ, I bet you are thrilled.
I'm definitely something. So, any longtime viewer or Tyler or Malik, because they were around when this whole thing with Petrovich and Adonis started, there was never anything good about the foundation of this storyline. He started out being a skis bag. Fast forward to tonight, he's still a fucking skis bag. Petrovich had kicked BJ Ray in the head for being an ass clown before this whole storyline even started. So, what the hell was in it for her? She already has done this. She literally has already done this. She had zero growth whatsoever. Which was exactly what I said was gonna happen.
Yeah, that is definitely in the CJ called it category now.
Yeah. What can I say? I am just unfortunately prophetic. Prophetic, not pathetic. Well, I mean a little bit of both, but
If only, Tony.
if only.
If only.
If only, man.
Rest in peace, Jerry. Former mayor of Cincinnati, Ohio, Jerry Springer. But yeah, so I mean, so more than one breakup. The metaphor breaking up, Petrovich and Shante breaking up. So yeah, it was. You're right. It was really just. It was barely even background noise of an angle. Like at first, they kind of like gave it a little bit of leg, and they're like, oh, like all of her friends were like, what the hell's wrong with you? And then it just kind of moved on, and you didn't really hear much about them for a while. Like you'd see them periodically in like a background shot. So maybe that was why they're like, screw it, we have to end this. We thought we were going to do something with it. We decided we didn't want to. We don't want to just let it, fizzle out. We want to give it an actual like end it, an ending on air. So maybe that was it. I don't know. Maybe they had plans for it. It just never clicked the way they wanted it to click. It is developmental. They're gonna try shit from time to time. It's not all going to be puppies and rainbows.
So. Yeah, all right.
But it's over. It's over. We never have to see the relationship again. So, although I look forward to the social media crash out that I think Adonis is going to have.
Yeah.
I swear, if they show up next week and they're already playing like oh, I'm sorry, I'm gonna win you back. Well, I don't know. Like, fuck you. Don't insult my intelligence. Just let this fucking die.
You shouldn't have even said that, CJ, because you just put that out in the universe, and I didn't think that was even a direction they could go, and now I think they might do that.
I'm
sniveling, begging, give me forgiveness. Next time on Cheaters, Ashante.
I'm just saying, like, the possibility was already stewing in my head, and I just needed to get
Release
it
that.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
CJ, if you've learned anything about WWE, they always get the girl back. So they always get
True.
the
don't
girl back, CJ.
Oh, it's
yeah,
true. It's
It's
damn true.
let me believe that they've changed.
all right. Let the magic stay alive. You know, leave the memories alone, as it would be with them.
I'm here for love. Unlike CJ. See, we were good, CJ. And you gave me a reason to be opposite of you. It's like, here for love.
Is this
Okay.
our feud really reignited?
Nah, it's not. Not because of this. I'm
Oh
with you.
God! Not because of this. Not because of
Let-
the Sean Vivian Girl
not
Bench
this. Not this. Not this. We'll find something
match.
else.
Oh Lordy! Oh my God! All right, we're hopping forward here, guys. It was in ring promo time as a very oiled up Trick Williams made his way to the ring, and as I said earlier tonight, he, while oiled up, was not very kind here in this promo. He had a lot of unnice things to say about Joe Hendry. He said Joe Hendry's name
Yep.
multiple times, and Joe didn't appear because Joe couldn't appear because Joe was being, given medical treatment after, getting the shit knocked out of him by Dark State. But yeah, so he ran down Trick quite heavily before Ava came out here. But guys, in the pre-Ava portion of this, what do you think of Trick's promo here and the edge and the heelishness that he brought with him tonight?
It was absolutely outstanding. Like, if you kind of look the way he was talking about tonight, how he's going to be on All American, guest starring on that TV show, that he's now Hollywood Trick. It felt like kind of like Hollywood Rock vibes a little bit, way how he was doing it. Trick is developing his promo every single week, but as of right now, him being a heel, it's great because he's got so much more that he can tamper with the whole you guys aren't worth it to me. I'm bigger than NXT. I'm bigger than TNA. I'm the biggest professional wrestler, the biggest superstar in the world right now. And it's that whole thing where it brings me back to last month to the Build to Stand and Deliver of fuck, Javion's right. He is turning it into Carmelo Hayes because as he is speaking all throughout that promo, all I thought is everything that Mello used to say back in the day when he was the manager for Carmelo Hayes. But it's great. It's also seen more of an aggression for Trick. He's more focused, more laser point. Wants his title back. 10 out of 10 on that promo. One of the best promos of the night for sure.
Yeah, I agree. I Y'all know me. I'm one of Trick's biggest haters, man. I've always been. And even I got some slander though. Can I get my slander off before I get to my point? Hey, Trick, you found every single bottle of Diddy's baby oil. That's one. You found every single bottle of Diddy's baby oil, and the crazy part is you didn't oil your back. It was super distracting on his. I'm like, he forgot his back. He's super shiny. But you didn't. All right, Trick. But
Oh man.
other than that, Trick, that was a hell of a promo. Like, it brought things full circle. I remember vividly the promos that he had with Carmelo Hayes up until their stand and deliver match. He sounds exactly like him. But the thing about Trick is that Trick seems a lot more believable. There's a lot more passion with Trick as a heel. Calling Joe Hendry basically a bum. Like we know what Joe Hendry has accomplished, regardless of what you feel about him as a TNA champion. The social media presence of Joe Hendry is Hollywood like. He's a star outside of wrestling, believe it or not. So the fact that Trick was able to elevate himself to that level was amazing to me. Trick, salute to you for tonight, bro. You definitely made me a believer tonight. And I've been one of your biggest critics, but I'm glad you finally here, my brother. I really am.
Then I also want to point out too, which I forgot to mention, he also pulled the old trick of "you don't belong here." It's the old inferring of you're over in TNA, you don't belong here in WWE. You're in another promotion. You're a big fish in a small pond while I'm sitting here being a big fish in a bigger pond. So it's one of those scenarios of what they even used to tell AJ Styles back in the day when he first came to WWE. Everyone used to tell him, you were just a big fish in a small pond. You don't belong here. And it's translating now today, even with the partnership with WWE and TNA. And that was electric by him of how he roasted Hendry for that.
It was.
Well, I never thought I'd see the day Malik Wilson getting on the Trick Wilson train. I am so glad I'm here to see it. And even just knowing that it's the last thing in the world that you wanted to be doing, I just take such joy in knowing that finally you acknowledge what Tyler and I had been trying to tell you this whole time. You
I'm
just
glad.
weren't ready to see it.
I'm glad you said that because I definitely have a comeback for you and Tyler later about something I was right on. So
Alright.
if we're going to do that, that's perfectly fine. And during my absence, I'm a changed man, CJ. Okay. All right.
He's seen the
I'll,
light,
t-
man.
I've grown.
I'll tell you what,
Okay.
in your absence, I'm also a changed man. Let's do this.
Oh my god.
Bet.
Oh,
But Tyler, your opinion. You didn't give your opinion. We got to hear what you think, man.
Okay. I won't interrupt myself with Ava. But no, I think that Trick. That was the one thing that I was critical of Trick on was his promos. I just felt like there wasn't that genuine connection, that realism that he needed to kind of tap into, and he's found it. He's found it here with this heel turn, and I kind of thought he'd done everything he needed to do at NXT. I thought he was pretty much, fully baked and ready to roll up to the main roster, but I'm glad they didn't. I'm glad they've kept him around for this heel run because it's shown a whole new facet to him, and now he's become like a complete pro wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I dug this a lot. I was struck by how repeatedly mean he was, and it worked. And the crowd was still chanting "Whoop that Trick." We'll see if that keeps carrying on after a couple more weeks of this.
Can I curse?
Okay.
I'm
Go
sorry.
for it.
I'm sorry.
Fuck.
And the crowd was saying "fuck that Trick" when Joe Hendry was out there.
Oh, were they?
They were.
Yeah.
They were.
Yeah.
That's what they
muted.
bleeped. I wonder because
Huh.
friggin' CW. I wondered what they bleeped out.
Oh
Okay.
yeah. Oh yeah. So
Okay.
there's
All right. So
there's
they're already
real
on it
heel
then.
heat.
Okay.
Yeah, there's and also he applauded Dark State for putting Tim's to Joe Hendry too. I drew that comparison, which was because of my point earlier, which is why I feel like he's the leader of Dark State because you hated these guys, and now all of a sudden you're praising them. You don't hate Joe Hendry that much. You just want your title back. Like, nah, I see you, Trick. Even though I gave you credit, I still see you. You don't fool me, Trick.
So suspicious. So suspicious. But back to the promo as Trick was basically levying his desire for a world title shot and calling Oba out. He gets Ava instead, which is a shock when you call out Oba Femi and you get Ava dressed how the girls were dressing at the high school homecoming dances when I was in high school. I swear to God, like she like plucks her outfit straight out of like 2002. It's wild. Anyway, I digress. I am the last person to call out fashion to anybody. But anyway, she said that he can't call these shots and just get title matches like he wants, but he can have an opportunity next week amongst 25 others in a battle royale to determine the number one contender to face Obafemi at Battleground in Tampa. A lot of faces up there. So Trick Williams definitely has a chance. I'd say it's a low one, though.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. One thing too with Ava Rain is one thing I will say about her. It's you see that on Raw, Adam Pearce has an identity. Nick Aldis on SmackDown, he has an identity. I'm still struggling to find what is Ava Rain's identity as an NXT GM. But however, we're going back to an old school wrestling method where you need a number one contender for a title. Why not throw it in with Battle Royal? And I mean, that is one way you can do it, and that's the old school way, where the heel has to earn his way to make it into a title match after losing title match after title match. And that's how they used to do it. So I love to see that old wrestling tactic come back to life, especially in NXT, for Trick to go with 24 other people. But honestly, I'm going to predict it now. After Joe Hendry's match next week on NXT, he's going to fuck Trick Williams over. 100%. Because that's what I'm thinking it's going to be. But however, I can't pinpoint the winner. I see even Timothy Thatcher is in there, who's been working for Game Changer a lot as of late, which is kind of surprising. You got Swipe Right, a young tag team over in Evolved, Sean Spears, and who knows? They might throw in a little surprise here and there in this Battle Royal because who knows what will happen. This is hard to call here. Wesley, no catch quarter crew, which also there's a little turmoil with this one.
Is that there beside Eddie Thorpe?
Shiloh Hill.
Yeah, Shiloh Hill is going to be in that.
Yeah, and the guy beside him, I have been struggling to remember his name. Team Mickey James.
Oh shoot! Yeah. Well, okay. All right. So throwing some LFG. It's interesting. And that wasn't the only LFG mentioned tonight. We'll actually have that coming up here in a moment.
Actually, the very next segment.
Yeah, it is the next segment. Yeah. So we'll hop right into that. So we had Obafemi was being interviewed backstage by Kelly Kincaid, and he was approached by the Undertaker. Undertaker again reiterated that this is Oba's yard, but he's got some guys from LFG that are coming up, and a few faces from LFG popping on. Interesting. The faces they chose here, who they picked to be on there. But this was a pretty cool little thing. Another tie, and they are pushing LFG pretty heavily on NXT proper, which is interesting considering how there are folks that have been involved heavily on an angle. Talking to you, Cutler James, with Dark State, who is also heavily involved on LFG. But yeah. So what do you guys think of this and the folks that they chose from LFG to promote here with this segment?
Well, who else has watched the entirety of LFG?
I am like 4 episodes behind right now.
I still have to catch up majorly on the whole season. Like I'm still on the 3rd episode because I got so busy. I still got to watch it all.
It's good though. I enjoy it.
It is. It's good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like I genuinely enjoy it. I think the people that they selected were interesting, and the way that they've been featured since. Like, for example, the people that ended up backstage in that segment with The Undertaker, Shiloh Hill, Jasper Troy, and Anthony Luke. Only Shiloh Hill was advertised for the Battle Royal next week. So why were Anthony Luke and Jasper Troy there?
Interesting. Yeah, it's a good question. Yeah.
Especially since they weren't advertised for anything else.
Yeah.
Like and the fact of why those two in particular and not other people, why 3 men and no women?
Also a good question. Yeah.
Because I mean, I thought Xena Sterling has done some tremendous work.
Oh yeah.
Like she should have been represented on the main roster.
Mm-hmm.
Well, maybe they're going to start, trickling them in a little bit. We'll see.
Or the main NXT.
Yeah. NXT proper, as it would.
Yes. You got what I was going for.
I got it.
I think with me, since I haven't watched LFG, I think I was more heavily involved on how big of a moment this is also for Obafemi. Having the Undertaker rub, which everyone knows when the Undertaker gives his approval out in the industry, retired or not, that's going to get you somewhere in this business. I see Obafemi as a future world heavyweight champion, and I think having the Undertaker coming over him to NXT and say, "This is your yard," acknowledging that NXT is his yard, something the Undertaker used to say for 30
A
plus
lot.
years.
Long time.
That rub itself, that just established that Obafemi is going to be one of the biggest WWE superstars we're going to see come out of this NXT
Oh
class
yeah. Oba
for
is
sure. And the Undertaker just solidified it right there. That was the match.
yeah. Oba's a beast. I say this a lot, but we've all been Oba feminists since the breakout tournament.
Mhm.
Like that
Oh
first
yeah.
night, his first match, it was just straight out of the gate.
Yeah, when it came to Obafemi, for me, I always wanted to kind of wait and see. You getting the Undertaker rub, man. I can't criticize Obafemi anymore. Like it's like Obafemi's really kicked my ass into submission when it comes to me turning into a fan of him. I can tell anywhere from the matches to now his promos, the dominance that he's permeating over NXT is insane. And the fact to see Undertaker come up to him and tell him, "Yo, this is your yard now," even if he said it before, I didn't know he said it before, but to come on camera and tell Obafemi to his face that no, this is your yard now, tells me exactly the future Obafemi has. I
Mhm.
apologize for what I said on the show, Tyler and CJ. You guys got me again. I apologize again. Yeah, all right.
Well, I will say, with Oba, I was always waiting for that chink in the armor to be shown.
Mhm.
Me
And
too.
they have either done the most masterful job in the history of pro wrestling of hiding any weaknesses he has, or he just doesn't have very many weaknesses to
I,
have to
I don't
show.
I don't think he has them from the matches
No.
that he's been in. All kinds of matches with all different types of opponents.
Yeah.
I thought he
I
was going to
ha-
struggle with promos, in all
I
honesty.
haven't seen him flop yet.
Nope.
Mm-mm.
So he's putting a long line of tape out there to tell people, hey, he's the next star. No, I got nothing to say except sorry.
Understood.
So, what do we think about him being main roster bound? Because we had talked about it a bit. I think last week or the week before. Sorry, potential main roster call ups. Do they want to give him a good, solid run as a good guy before they call him up? Is because I think that's still going to be good, essential experience, even if they turn him as soon as he hits the main roster.
Yeah, like I'd like to see him have a slightly longer run, but he's pretty much ready whenever they want to move him. It's
Mhm.
he really is. Like I don't know if there's really much more they need for him to do. If they wanted him up there, he could go now. But selfishly, from the perspective of an NXT fan, I'd like to see him stick around for
Mhm.
a while longer.
It's time. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it is
It's
time.
it's time because if you look at it seems like WWE. A lot of people need a break, like in
Mhm.
the main roster. From what I see, like Cody's not there right now. KO's hurt. Like there's a lot
He
of
could be
big
part of
talent
the
that were
team
there.
too.
You can kind of insert him into pretty much any type of picture when it
It's
comes to
true.
title that you
Mhm.
want in the main roster right now. So now might be the time to pull a trigger.
I
Yeah,
mean,
that's a good point.
hey, hell, you can just raise him up with Gunther. You can keep him face, have him feud against Gunther, get that dream
Yeah.
match in there.
Yep.
Hell, you can have Braun Breaker have the wear and tear with Heyman and Seth Rollins, and you need someone to stop Braun Breaker. Obafemi's your fucking guy for that.
Yeah. 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 Yeah, you're right. There's an easy way to slot him up there right now, and that's the time to do it. That is the problem. They move people not Not as often as they used to. It still does happen,
Mhm.
but like they move people and they don't have that like puzzle slot for them to fit into, and there's a spot for him right now. So, yeah, you know what? If they want to do it, let's do it. Move him up.
Fuck it, do it.
But before the next match we did have a quick locker room segment with Julia and Roxanne Perez having a "Did we just become best friends" moment together back there. Yeah, Julia heel out of nowhere, but she's a heel now, guys.
I kind of figured that.
It
I
just kind
figured
of
that really
like
well.
there it is, bam, heel. Okay.
Now, are they just wanting to try to establish them as a tag team in NXT before they hit the main roster? Because we've already seen them presented
Mm-hmm.
as a tag team on Raw.
I was about to ask, aren't they on the main roster now? Because
Yeah, they said they had like there was
The
a
debut
report about them having
patches.
the debut patches on. Yeah,
Yep.
so I mean they're their main roster, I think.
it kind of seems like their main roster now. So maybe this is their NXT swan song. Maybe that's what this is. Possibly. What do you guys think?
This would be the third time I've said that for Roxy though. At this point, that it's like this is her last match at NXT. I keep saying that. They keep getting me. This was like Fraxium losing the tag titles. I kept thinking it was going to happen and never did. But she keeps having these false NXT last moments.
I think for what they're doing, honestly, they could always just have them flip flop. I'm down with that because if you kind of look at it, there's some unresolved stuff on Raw with Rhea Ripley because Julia got involved in that match with Roxy as well. And plus, at this point, I wouldn't mind seeing them just flip flopping. So that way they can still keep going on NXT because they still have unresolved stuff in NXT too.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it's all gonna like kind of follow through depending on where Stephanie Valkyrie is gonna go, and it will be Stephanie, Julia, and Roxanne, just like how they presented it last night on Raw, where they're all getting called up at the same time.
Right. Oh,
And
that
maybe
So
post.
where do you think that leaves the women's championship if Stephanie gets called up too?
ooh,
Mm,
Well,
that
that
is a
does tie
difficult
in. That does tie into the end of the night.
one.
that's
Mm-hmm.
true.
True.
That's true. That's true.
So
Little
we
little
could
little
find
little
out.
little, little foreshadowing. A little
Yeah,
foreshadowing there.
yeah. I'll learn from
But
Tyler.
Stay with us,
Yeah.
guys. Don't tune out just yet. We'll tell you.
stick with us, guys. I know it's almost midnight on the East Coast, but stick
Yeah.
around, y'all. Stick
It
around.
is.
But back to the in ring section here, we had the newly crowned tag team champions Hank and Tank coming out for their first defense tonight. It's going to be against Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura. Inamura last week cried his way into a tag title opportunity here. So bravo, good on him for that. Solid match. Lots of heavy, stiff hits in this, as you would expect it to be. But a little bit of a little miscommunication between Briggs and Inamura. And Hank and Tank are able to get that crucial little extra advantage there, and they pick up the win and retain the tag titles in 10 minutes and 30 seconds. Solid match here. Happy for Hank and Tank. I love Hank and Tank. Honk honk. I think they're a fun tag team. I enjoy tag teams that are tag teams. And they are
Mhm.
a tag team. I like it. If with it being Fraxium's time to head up north, I couldn't have happened to a nicer team than Hank and Tank to get the belts. But gentlemen, what'd you think of their first title defense here tonight? And also, too, not just a title defense. How are you feeling about Josh Briggs and Yoshiki Inamura as a tag team as well?
I think I will start out with this one. For this one, for Briggs and that whole team with everything else with him, I never found Josh Briggs yet until like he's not doing anything for me right now. Even when he was teaming up with Brooks Jensen, I still hadn't felt that urge. You can even pair him up with someone who's got so much seasoning over in Japan,
He's got the
but he's still
JBL rub
doing
a couple times. He's got that
that
JBL
too.
rub. Like,
And he's got the JBL rub, but yet it's still nothing there for me. It's like for whatever reason, the work rate that he has, it needs to start improving more and more. But however, when we talk about Hank and Tank, though, now that team reminds me when they pulled out finisher for the first time ever. That tag team finisher. For whatever reason, I know it's not total elimination, but the way the Hank and Tank work, it reminds me a lot of the Eliminators from ECW. So where their style is, how they work, how they are really in your face, smash mouth wrestling. They remind me of two fucking John Coronases together. Like, honestly. And they are so great in the ring, and I was very entertained of seeing them beating Fraxium. The match itself was very subpar, but the challengers to this match, I felt like they didn't deserve it yet. And back to the totem pole you go, because you gotta work a little bit more. And it's just because of that character. That it's the character work in Josh Briggs and the in-ring work that is keeping me away to being a fan for this tag team.
I agree. Like, as far as Josh Briggs has really had the hardest time struggling to get that connection with the audience. And I mean, the irony, that we've talked about before, like, we thought he'd be the biggest thing coming out of that group, but um, I can't say that I haven't enjoyed his teaming with Inamura, but yeah, if the plan was for him to go back to Noah, I think this is going to be his last chance at establishing himself in NXT. Uh, at the end of the match, they had Inamura apologizing for the loss, and Briggs looked pissed. I get, which is telling me that we're gonna see Briggs turn on Inamura next week. Whether Briggs gets eliminated by Inamura or he causes Briggs to get eliminated, something to that effect. But yeah, I wanted to float that and see if what are your thoughts.
Yeah, it feels that way, especially with his, leaving impending, with him going back to Japan soon. It makes sense.
Still not a fan of Hank and Tank. I gotta see him as heels. I gotta see him
How
as heels.
are
They're amazing in the ring though. It's just their character. They kind of remind me of like an Alpha Academy or like just their personalities. Like you kind of get burnt out because WWE has so many of that. So other than that, they're amazing in the ring. My thoughts were, damn, Josh Briggs is still struggling in the abyss. When I saw who he was tagging with, I was just like, damn, they still didn't find anything like major for him. And I know on the show this is kind of something that we've kind of been waiting for, to see him take the next step. So it's kind of sad to see him not do that yet. Maybe that's going to be the progression of what CJ says. I totally see that too. Kind of writing's kind of on the wall for that. So maybe it'll come after that. But I felt bad for Josh Briggs, man. When I saw him, I was like, damn, I thought you would kind of be like how Lexis King is. Like you would kind of be in that position where even though things were kind of rough for a while, there's still like progression with you, that I come back and I see that you probably won the North American Championship or something during the time. And he hasn't. And
he's in the same position.
That's disappointing to see from me. So hopefully that changes. But I thought it was a good match overall. I'll say that though. I did like the match.
Right on, right on. All right, I guess anything else on that one before we hop forward here? All right. So before the next kind of pre-tape segment here, we had the No Quarter Catch crew minus Charlie Dempsey hanging out in the back talking. And Tavion Heights was telling Miles Bourne that Charlie was upset with him, for tagging with Javon last week, for going outside the team. And he really didn't seem to care all that much. He just really talked about, the upcoming Battle Royal and how they all need to be in it here. And yeah, I'm fine with a little friction in the NQCC. I don't worry about it breaking up the NQCC. I feel like that's just going kind of back to their roots a little bit. The whole concept of them constantly fighting with and training with each other. So it's fine. Little inter-team rivalry can't hurt them at all because they haven't done a lot with Charlie for a while in NXT. He's been there, just not doing a whole lot with him. He's been doing things in other places, so
Yes,
he's getting his reps in. But yeah. So I saw a little segment here.
If you don't
They
mind me
did
asking,
really.
sorry, go ahead,
Oh,
CJ. I'm sorry.
sorry, I was just gonna say they did put a lot of focus on what's Charlie gonna say. Like, what the fuck do you care what Charlie's gonna say? It's a battle royal. It's still every man for themselves. Like
Right.
you uh, still have to throw your teammate over the top rope eventually if it comes down to it. So what the fuck does it matter unless you're planning on kind of disbanding the No Quarter Catch crew or changing it as we know it?
Right. Mm.
And Malik, what was the question to be?
Yeah, I was gonna ask you guys' opinion on Charlie Dempsey because you said they haven't been using him much. He's
Ooh.
in other places. I know how much we love No Quarter Catch Crew on this show.
Hmm.
So, what's your opinion on what's going on with Charlie Dempsey? Is this starting to be concerning for you, or what?
It was kind of like not long after he lost the Heritage Cup that he kind of started spending a little more time. He's done a couple little stints in Noah. He's done
Hmm.
some stuff in TNA. I think he did.
Game changer.
He was on Bloodsport.
Yep.
So I mean, he's running around. So maybe that's something he likes doing too. Maybe that's something like his dad's in his ear telling him like this is the
Hmm.
closest you can get to being a journeyman wrestler doing it this way. So don't sweat it. There's going to be a spot for you on that roster. It's always going to be there. And it's also kind of crowded. It's not just the upper card on NXT that's crowded. That mid card is crowded as hell.
Mhm.
And if there's not a clear cut spot for somebody, and they're just going to be like, kind of just like flapping in the wind as it would be, let him do something else somewhere else for a little while. That's what made the territories work
Hmm.
back in the day. So like, I don't find it concerning for him. With like with CJ saying with him having such a focus on what's Charlie going to say, what's Charlie going to think, he's probably about to come back in a big way. Which is cool too that he's coming, potentially coming back in a big way at the same time that Noam Dar came back, because I'd love to see
Hmm.
them tangle over the Heritage Cup again. They've had some great matches with each other, so they could definitely run that back. But yeah, I didn't find it super concerning, but I'm glad he's seemingly coming back though.
Right.
Yeah, and he was actually. I when I looked at the who was in the battle royal, it as is advertised that Dempsey is in the battle
Okay.
royal as of right now. And with Charlie Dempsey, son of William Regal, he's still very young too. He needs to get those reps in because what can you do when everyone in that mid card is crowded? You need to get those reps in, and plus, as what Tyler said, he's got that spot no matter what because of his dad. Until William tells him to go somewhere else, he's going to stay where he's at. And honestly, the way that he's been hopping over a Noah as of late, his ability over in Bloodsport is definitely in Bloodsport. If you check his Bloodsport matches, even for the Dirt Sheet Nation, he works just like his dad when he does Bloodsport. And that is one of the major things is if there's any way, shape, or form that we were going to get the next William Regal, it's definitely M. Dempsey. And I am not concerned one bit because he's a hell of a technician. He has probably wrestled the day since he was put in diapers thanks to his dad and his reptilian addiction that William Regal does indeed have. Um, but I have no issues with Charlie Dempsey becoming a star in this promotion, and I do see a lot of William into him. And William's definitely behind his ear, giving him the advice because obviously everyone knows William started wrestling at the age of 16 in Blackpool, England. So he's got that trait onto him. He's got advice. Hunter's taking care of him. Sean's taking care of him. Matt Bloom is taking care of him. They're going to make sure that they can get the fullest potential out of Dempsey as they can,
Yeah.
due to the fact that he is a second generation star. And I don't foresee anything. And plus, I've also heard even little bits of rumors here and there. I heard from the work tree, even from a buddy of mine at work, that maybe there's a potential William Regal versus Charlie Dempsey situation coming around, and William Regal showing over to Bloodsport as well.
That'd be fun. That would be fun. That would be fun.
Would be. We have to see even if Regal wants it. Like
Mhm.
I I don't know that I've ever heard in any interview that he's given any indication of wanting to come back. Like I've understood him to be happily retired.
Oh yeah, and so far it's only been Josh Bartlett who's been kind of like, "Hey, I've been on the phone with Regal trying to see if he wants to come back in," sort of deal.
Well, I mean, if it's for his kid, there's no better reason. No better
Yeah.
reason.
Exactly.
But all right. So I don't have a picture for this, but there was a quick promo from the Dark State on, I think it was on X, as they were talking about beating up Joe Hendry. So yeah, so Dark State continues to continue their
Is
roughshod
that
run.
what that was?
Mhm.
Yeah, social media
Okay,
pro.
because just for anybody who might not be aware, I'm the only Canadian in the regular streaming host uh, of NXT, so I can offer the international experience getting to watch the show on Netflix. All I saw was a panning shot of the NXT crowd with the audio from that video.
Wow.
Not the
Interesting.
video itself. So it basically sounded to me like they hacked the production audio feed and
That's
were
almost
just
that's almost
spouting
cooler.
off about attacking Joe Hendry.
To be honest
That's
with you had a whole better experience thinking
yeah.
that than we
That's
did watching it. I could,
that sounds a lot cooler, honestly. To have
yeah.
it that way,
Yeah,
like
I'd be wanting to
It,
talk about it.
that's more in line with their characters, honestly. Like, damn, that's cool. They should have done it that way. You got
Yeah.
the right version,
Yeah.
CJ.
You did. You did. Because I
and
was. Go ahead, CJ. My
it's
bad.
because I didn't get any sort of lead in from commentary to give me any indication that a video was playing.
Oh, that's
And
hard. Yeah.
they do this a lot with advertisements mostly. Like if a if a sponsorship is playing and the commentator has an ad read, the commentary gets cut. If there's a graphic, the graphic doesn't get shown. It's just whatever's in the background
Right.
is what I'm looking at. Usually a crowd shot, whatever. Um, but it also has led to some technical issues in the past. Like I think they cut or they just didn't raise the commentator levels, and they went, I think, 13 minutes into the episode with
Yeah.
zero commentator audio internationally.
Yep.
It was a travesty.
It happens. Yeah, I remember you telling me about that. That's wild that happened. It was like nearly a quarter of an hour into the program before they fixed the problem. But that happened. I remember one time, real quick before we roll on, there was it was when I was in high school. Raw opened, and the first like maybe 8 minutes or so were in Spanish. Like the only time I ever had something like that happened. But I was very confused. I'm like, that's not JR's voice.
You sure you didn't hit the Spanish button?
The
I
SAP button, the
I
old
don't
school
I don't
SAP button.
I don't know that the cable I had back in West Virginia was capable of that. I really don't. I just
Had to ask. Besides
maybe,
that,
maybe I just but Appalachian Espanol wasn't a big one there. I don't know. Possibly. But but guys, I am clearly excited. Our next segment we had here tonight, they made it official last week with the briefcase being open, but finally reopened with a whole new class. Chase U back in operation. Andre Chase teaching again. Happy he can still maybe do more with the haircut than he does. But yeah, fantastic segment, lots of fun. Uriah Connors and Cale Dixon showing up late. This guy Chad
Fucking snitch.
Chad.
pointing that out.
It looks like a Chad too.
He does. He does. Chad. But yeah, and just as Chad thinks that Mr. Chase is going to be on his side, no. We have the Andre Chase of yesteryear making his full return, telling him to shut the fuck up. You got questions, fuck your questions. God, I'm so here for it. I'm so happy Chase U's back. I was in a deep spiral after Chase U had to disband from that dastardly evil Rich Holland. And
Fuck Rich Holland.
and you know what? Chase U is officially back on TV, and I ain't seen Rich Holland in a minute. So there it is. But guys, what'd you think of this segment? Chase U officially back with the way they use Uriah Connors, fourth generation superstar Uriah Connors, and Cale Dixon here. How you guys feeling about this? About Chase U's triumphant return?
I have
It
to
was
do
a fun.
I have to do it. Sorry, fuck your question, Tyler. I had to do it. I had to do it. Go ahead, CJ. That's all I wanted to say. I had to. Sorry. Go ahead, CJ.
Uh, you know what? I had something and now I'm just completely lost. Um oh yeah, like it felt like one, now that the world can finally begin to heal because Andre Chase is standing in front of an auditorium of students swearing at them and yelling, and it's wonderful. But at the same time, it might be emblematic of an issue that you and I, Tyler, have talked about before, of whether Chase U really is a gimmick that only works at the PC and it only works in
It
NXT.
it does, and I've decided that's okay. I think that
Mhm.
Chase U is needed at NXT, and if Chase U is something that exists for the next 15 years at NXT, I think they'll always be able to keep it going and keep it revitalized. I think it's always
Yep.
going to be a good vehicle to help bring young talent in and up. And there were some faces from Evolve in that crowd there of incoming
Hey,
students.
students.
So yeah, I think that's we talked about it not working on the main roster, and I'm now in the camp of that's fine. There is no shame in the game of being
Mhm.
an NXT lifer. I think that Andre Chase, formerly Harlem Bravado, I think he'll be a happy wrestler if this is his job for the rest of his career. I don't
So
want to
this
speak
is
for the man, but
you turn it into positively killing my dreams now. That's what that is. It's gone
I'm
from
okay with it.
it's gone from I don't think they'll be on the main roster, Malik. So you know what, Malik, they're not going to be on the main roster.
No.
But you know what? That's okay. No, it's not okay. I want Chase U on a main roster. Still, they died and resurrected, Tyler. Like what more evidence
Right
do
after
you need?
Easter.
Yes,
Oh, man.
yes. They died and resurrected. You cannot tell me that it's not going to work. They died and brought it back.
Okay, I'm wrong.
Okay,
I'm
here's the
wrong.
thing. Here's the thing. You got me with the point that it deserves to be on NXT though. You got me there. I will be fine if Chase U doesn't make it to the main roster because, like you pointed out, I do see the importance from people like Evolve, new people coming into the company, and how pivotal Chase U and Andre Chase is to the development of talent. They may not be ready to showcase exactly on NXT yet, but can put them on screen with Chase U to at least get
Mhm.
their face shown. So I do agree with you there. Just give me Andre Chase in the Royal Rumble one year because, man, Andre Chase can go. And
Yeah, he
that's
can.
the reason
Yeah.
why I want Chase U on the main roster because I believe in Andre Chase. And I think anything they give him on the main roster, especially if it's Chase U, along with his in-ring ability, he going to make it work. It's just my opinion.
And as we said, honestly, I'm to a point where I'm okay with it being on NXT. Obviously, if they do choose to put it onto the main roster, there is people in that main roster who need some Chase U in their life, in all honesty, and they need to attend a fucking class or two. But otherwise, of what we have talked about with the Evolved wrestlers being there, that's great for them to get on TV, get a little bit more of a buzz, work their characters out. I don't know about that Chad fucking guy if he's an Evolve or not, but fucking snitch. But I do want to touch on too. This is definitely going to be helpful for Araya Connors and Dale Dixon, especially Araya Connors. For those who don't know Araya Connors, because of the name switch, Araya Connors is indeed a fourth generation superstar, but his real name is Brogdon Finley. And I don't know, guys. Does that last name Finley ring a bell to you guys?
Yes, it does.
Maybe one
Okay.
bell or two.
Just a couple. Just a couple.
So if this helps Andre Chase get them to tag team title stardom, obviously it's not going to be just right away. This will be huge, and plus we kind of see this is a new Andre Chase. Andre Chase used to answer questions. Now he's saying "fuck your questions." So this is a new
He's always
aggressive
been a little
deal.
abusive. There's always been a little bit of a Bobby Knight aspect to
Yep.
his approach here, but I'm so happy though. So glad he's back. It's
And
fantastic.
however,
I do have to say though that now that Chase U is officially back, why did they have to release Duke Hudson?
that is
Good question. It's a good
Like
question.
it really it kind of felt like they disbanded Chase U just to tell Duke Hudson, well, now we actually have nothing for you. And then
Yeah,
they brought Chase U back.
Oh,
because Thea's back, and where's Riley Osborne?
Yeah, who
oh,
knows?
I know.
Like, but he's still under contract though, as far as I know. Like, I haven't heard about him getting released, but like,
I
yeah,
mean,
it,
it's no
it really
protocol.
does. You CG, you're right. It really does kind of feel like we're okay, guys. We're gonna get rid of Chase U because we need an excuse to fire Duke Hudson, which is silly because Duke was good, but
Yeah, he was.
apparently, I remember, we'd given him a fair amount of praise for his match with Oba Femi when Oba was on that North American title run, and I'd read recently that management apparently was not impressed with him in that match. And apparently, they did not like what they saw out of him in that match, and that was kind of the end of Duke Hudson's NXT run there that night, but which
Bummer.
I think is wild. I likes a little more confirmation or why specifically they felt that way because I thought he looked great there, but I don't know. Yeah, but it does suck for him. It does suck for him a lot. Like, and Thea's doing her own thing now. She is a grown ass woman with Eddie Edwards' old entrance theme.
Now, I do want to kind of circle back to Riley Osborne. The last three matches he's had, according to Cage Match, all took place in the month of February of this year. So,
Okay.
I mean, he's wrestled semi recently. Um,
Probably on house shows.
Two of the three matches were on Evolve.
Oh, okay.
Oh, looks like we're
Okay.
tuning in to Tubi.
But again, this was February. So we'll see if he continues to show up anywhere or if we might start seeing him future endeavored.
It's possible. It is possible. But all right, so I don't have a picture for the next couple little quick segments here, but we had Kalani Jordan and Sol Ruka hanging out in the locker room. Or sorry, Sol Ruka and Zarya hanging out in the locker room. Kalani Jordan stepped in and was mean. And this sets up for Kalani and Zarya to have a match next week. And then we also had Hank and Tank approaching Joe Hendry, who was in the trainer's room being tended to after getting beat. And Hank and Tank told them that if he needs help with Dark State, all they have to say is honk honk, and they'll be there. And he gave the little honk, but there were no truckers going by, so no one beeped a horn. But yeah, so it looks like we'll be getting Hank and Tank teaming up with Joe Hendry here in the future.
Bro, you
Next week.
shouldn't. You
Next
shouldn't.
week.
You shouldn't because Trick called his name and he didn't appear, so you can't trust that. So I don't know why you would. But whatever.
He did eventually appear. It was just on a bit of a delay.
In a trainer's room.
Maybe he
He
couldn't
still
hear. Like,
appeared.
is there anything that
No TV in
hinders his superpower to like teleport in? Like, is there anything that can like disrupt his ability to perceive his name at any distance?
Fear.
I guess
Dark.
physical
Fear,
injury.
fear,
Fear.
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 Oh goodness, but yeah, so they will be teaming up. They're the tag champs. They couldn't get a better graphic.
What do you mean? That is an amazing graphic.
I don't know. I feel like they could have done better. But they announced that officially. They also announced that officially with Kalani and
Mhm.
Zarya. And again, they brought up the massive battle royale that will be taking place. And then it was main event time, guys.
Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So possibly, I keep saying this, but possibly again for the last time, Roxanne Perez, Tuesday Night Roxy, teaming up tonight with Julia. They were taking on Jordan Grace and the women's champion, Iyo Sky. Guys, this match tonight, solid work all around. We went 14 minutes, 24 seconds. What did you think of tonight's main event? The way that the end kind of played out, and understandably, who got the pinfall here tonight. But guys, what'd you think of tonight's main?
It was just awesome. It was a brilliant main event. Obviously, as we mentioned, every main event outside angle in NXT every Tuesday, we were going to get that with Jordan Grace and Julia eventually. But honestly, I kind of want to, aside from Julia, we always praise Julia and we always praise Jordan Grace. But I will say this: the whole thing with Iyo Sky and Roxanne Perez being in that ring together, that gives me promise of what we're going to get eventually in the main roster with them going one-on-one instead of in a tag team match. Their styles really mesh together super well. And it's counter for counter, moonsault counter after moonsault counter. It was so brilliant that I want to see that eventually for the title at one point in
Yeah,
time, whether it's a Raw or a pay-per-view. I don't care. Those guys can go and they need to literally fight forever because that was so damn good. And obviously, we understand you have the women's world heavyweight champion coming in. She needs to go over. So how about we don't get Julia pinned or Jordan Grace pinned? Let Roxy take the pin because she is the heel that no one likes right now. She's the chicken shit heel here and there too as well. So I'm fine with it. It was an amazing match, bell from bell to bell, and it just gives us promise up to what we got looking forward to when Roxanne does make it to the main roster full time.
yep.
That's a bummer because that kind of leaves Jada Parker out of the title picture for now. So, I mean, unless they decide to send her after Sol Ruka, which I wouldn't mind seeing that match either, but it
Oh,
would almost feel like a demotion of sorts for Jada. Not that I
yeah.
think it would be, because the NXT's women's division is on fire either way.
Well,
So
it's
I,
crowded as well, you know. And we speaking of Jada,
mhm,
we had no Jada tonight. Jada wasn't
No
on
Jada
the show
tonight.
this evening.
We
Nope.
didn't even have the champion herself wrestling tonight either. No Stephanie Valkyrie for the first time in pretty much a pretty good bit. It's, I think her
She
first
did
time
appear
in a while.
after
Yeah,
the match there, but
but she didn't appear in the ring to wrestle. That's what I mean. Like she hasn't had a match in a little bit.
She's a raw talent now. She's load managing. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. Amazing main event, man. Like it showed me the progression of the NXT women's division, like in totality when I watched that match. Like, of course, you can point to Monday Night Raw because that's, you know what I'm saying, that's where the mainstay is. But if you've been watching NXT, you see what this main event like meant
Mm-hmm.
to what for past, present, and future when it comes to the NXT women's division. I'm in love with Iyo Sky, man, and every match that I see her shows me exactly why WWE chose her to walk out of WrestleMania with that
Mm-hmm.
championship and solidified their reason in doing that. You can use Iyo Sky in any situation,
Mm-hmm.
even and she can't speak English well, but she's so dynamic in the ring that she's must watch, and she meshes
Mm-hmm.
with pretty much anybody you put her in the ring with. So to me, honestly, when I watched that main event, Iyo Sky and her greatness came to mind.
Well, and kind of real quick, kind of touch on something both of you guys said with the crossing of Roxy and Io. Like they are so well matched, like both size wise. It was something. I always knew that Io was on the smaller side, but I wasn't aware of how on the smaller side she was until she was standing between Bianca Belair and Rhea
Mm-hmm.
Ripley, and it's just like from behind, it's like I might think that's a child that stepped in the ring. Like, I don't know if you've ever seen that shot of like Sabrina Carpenter on stage with Taylor Swift, and it's Sabrina Carpenter from behind. It's like, oh, a fan came. Oh, nope, that's a whole grown person right there. She's just 4'11". But she's small, and Roxy's very small too. But man, they moved so well together. That pop rocks reversal into that kick, like just great. And Robbie, like you were saying, I look forward to the day that on a major, PLE, a spot like that can happen, and the crowd's going to eat that
Mm-hmm.
up. They're going to do really well together when they get that chance down the line, and they're doing pretty well by Roxy on the main roster. They've given her a lot of shine and a lot of oomph going into this. So, I don't want her to get. I don't want to. I don't want her wheels to have to spin and her to just have to keep flapping in the wind like poor Lyra Valkyria has had to do so much without being able to really find footing. I don't want that to happen again because I was so happy for Lyra when she went up, and it's just been rough going for her. She's starting to get there, but don't do that to Roxy. Oh, real quick, Booker mentioned ROH on air. I was stunned by
Uh-oh.
that. I was stunned by that. Because, yeah, I get when you guys
Yeah.
mention companies that you play nice with, but that one's owned by the company you don't play nice with. And, yeah, but Booker's going to do what Booker's going to do. But, yeah, he
Yeah.
mentioned, her being ROH champ, and I was just, my ears kind of popped off for a second at that.
And him and Corey Graves, cool.
Well, and I think it's solely because that's his star pupil. Like I had it written in my notes, this paragraph of a diatribe against Booker T. I'm not going to go into it because frankly, I wasn't in a good place when I wrote it. But I the last point that I oh man, you're getting me there. But anyways, like the one point that I would say is still valid criticism is the inability to really tolerate any level of criticism toward Roxanne Perez.
Mm-hmm.
Like even from Vic and Corey on commentary, he would vehemently defend her. Like she could do no wrong. And I get that, yeah, that's your star pupil, but there was a time where she really needed to get a handle on her character. Oh no, she's perfect. Like that could not be further from the truth, and it's still the case in Booker T's eyes that
Mm-hmm.
and to her credit, she has done some tremendous work and improved greatly. Um, but to still say that she's perfect and the epitome of star power, very biased for Booker to be pushing that hard for his student.
He behaves the same way on LFG.
Exactly. Like he is so like Booker T's biggest cheerleader is Booker T.
Oh, yeah, man. It really
And
is.
anytime he doesn't get the point and like anytime any of his people don't get a point, it is the biggest conspiracy against him to keep him down and not let him win. Like it's seen as a personal affront if you disagree with Booker T.
You want to be on his good side. You want to be on Booker's good side.
Mm-hmm.
Oh damn! But so after the match, we did get at least a sighting of the champion Stephanie Vacker. She was back there with Ava, and Ava was she was asking who her next challenger was going to be, and she stated that it should be between two women. And before she could even let Stephanie answer, because she's like, "Look, I know what you're going to say," which obviously would have been, "I'll fight them both." Which I love that. I love that the attitudes of both of your main champions, and I said I'm talking of Oba Femi and Stephanie Vacker, is I don't care how many people you want to throw at me at any single time, I'll fight them all and I'll beat them. Also, as an aside, I love that Oba Femi has never lost a triple threat match. Like
Mm-hmm.
that's a really cool thing to have under your belt. Keep that going. Like, let that be his weird specialty thing that he always walks out with. I love it because he's a beast. But anyway, setting up for next week, we will have Julia and Jordan Grace facing off 1-on-1 with the winner
Ooh.
taking on Stephanie at Battleground.
I'm gonna put my prediction in now. I love Jordan Grace. She did just get into NXT, but the money right now it's in Stephanie and Julia. The money is right there to have another rematch between those two, and that's what I think it's gonna happen. I'll say Jordan Grace will eventually get her time in the summer to become NXT Women's Champion, but right now it's got to be Stephanie versus Julia for that title once again.
I don't think that's the best way to go, especially if we're anticipating both Julia and Stephanie getting called up.
Oh, right.
Best case
Yeah.
scenario, you have Julia reclaiming the women's championship and then a quick drop to someone else to kind of hot potato it. Worst case scenario, or sorry, that is worst case scenario. Best case scenario, Stephanie holds on
Or
to it a little bit longer and then eventually drops it. So if that is the case, then Jordan is the best choice. But I still think that Jada Parker at Stand and Deliver would have been the better choice. If you were having Stephanie come up to Raw just to parade the NXT Championship, then why didn't you do that before Stand and Deliver? Get eyes on the NXT brand so that you could see who the woman was that would have beat her for the title.
Um,
I got a nice idea. Do you guys remember when Kevin Owens was first called up to the main roster? Where he had that first feud with John Cena,
Mhm.
but he still had the NXT title by his side and around his waist? They could have it to where either Stephanie or Julia wins the title, still be on the main roster, flip flop between Raw and the NXT like they are now, until they find a suitable holder to drop the title to. So I think when Kevin first got on, it was only like 1 or 2, possibly 3 months he's held it, and then he dropped it to Balor, I believe. So they can just run it like that as well. So that way, you get the eyes on the NXT Women's Division. B, you sit there and see the prestige of what the NXT Women's title is for the casuals who don't watch NXT to put more viewers onto NXT. And C, we haven't had that exposure in a while for that NXT Women's Championship as well. So they can always go that route as well until they find a suitable placement to take the title either off of Valkyrie or Julia. So that way you get more eyes on the product since Netflix is global and stuff like that. And you get more fans tuning in to check out what NXT is about and why they call it the future to the WWE.
I have a different opinion. Um, just go ahead and give Jordan Grace a title. This
Mm-hmm.
is what this is what you brought her here for. Like
Exactly.
for this moment, and you already have Stephanie and Julia beefing on the main roster already. Like that's already there, and Iyo Sky is clearly in that picture.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to prolong this NXT Women's Championship anymore. Stephanie Vaquera is already a star up there.
Yeah.
They're already expecting Julia. Roxanne Perez is already a star. Roxanne Perez has been put in work since the Elimination Chamber. She's already kind of established in the main roster. Kind of, she's already made her claim there.
Mhm.
Just
Royal
go
Rumble.
ahead. Just go ahead and give Jordan Grace was at the Royal Rumble too. She got an amazing pop. People
Yeah.
know who she is.
Exactly. And
The
plus,
NXT women's division is in great hands. There's no need to prolong these three going up to the main
Yeah,
roster,
that's true.
in my opinion. Just go ahead and give it to Jordan Grace. Jada Parker's right there waiting in the wings for it, so you don't need to prolong Jada Parker and put her to the mid-card title either, because now you have those three elevate into the main roster, like I said, just like we were talking about for Izzy Dane. The runway is wide open for Jada Parker with those three leaving too. Just go ahead and pull the trigger, give it to Jordan Grace. I'm good with that.
Yeah, I'm
Mhm.
sold.
Mhm.
I'm happy what they do either way. One gets eyes, the other gets more eyes. It's all good. I'm happy with whatever they do.
And a quick question to CJ though, because your question about why didn't they put Stephanie up to the main roster before Stand and Deliver? Do you think it's possible that because it's WrestleMania weekend, that's where most likely NXT is going to get the most eyes in Stand and Deliver, and that's why you
Mhm.
do it afterwards, because that's pretty much where she's going to be showcased? Do you think that could be a reason of the timing of why she's on the main roster with the championship?
Well, no, because I mean, heading into Stand and Deliver, that would have been a good time to promote Stand and Deliver during Monday Night Raw. Um, but if what I was saying, if they were going to call Stephanie up to get her in front of the Monday Night Raw audience before her official call up, are they did they leave the NXT title on her just to give that some visibility, or do they have more plans for Stephanie still in NXT?
I think so, because when Roxanne was in the Royal Rumble, wasn't she still NXT Women's Champion, if I'm not mistaken?
She had not. No, I think Julia was the NXT
Okay.
Women's Champ.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because Fakir won the North American Women's Championship first
Yep.
before she beat Julia, I think, at Vengeance, was it? In February or March? It was way
Something like
before
that,
Stand
yeah.
and Deliver. I think so.
Because
But I think
I remember her being on the main roster with a championship. Maybe it was the tag titles. Maybe I'm tripping.
I thought Julia beat Roxy at New Year's Evil. I think.
Yeah, it was New Year's Evil. So when Julia was in the Rumble, that means she was Women's champion because Stephanie Valkyrie won the North American Women's title before that whole thing, and that's the double
But
title match, title for title, and they made Valkyrie drop the title, and that's what the ladder match was, a Stand and Deliver.
Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, the NXT Women's Division is it's got so many moving pieces, and it's just a pleasure to watch week after week. But gentlemen, before we hop into the jobbers and megastars of the night and get into closing procedures here, anything else on tonight's show that we hadn't hit on that you wanted to talk about?
Nah.
No. Okay.
No.
Ready for my pipe bomb. Let's go.
All right.
Hell yeah.
Let's let me get these graphics up. Get these words on the screen. Get the sad noise. All right. Who would like to take point on the jobber of the night here? Anyone? Any takers?
Sure, I'll jump in here. My jobber of the night is the referee for that first match between Lexis King and Ricky Saints, and I see the reaction from Tyler. I may have spoiled his evening, but yes, I have to give it to him. That was just such a
I wish we
shitty.
knew his name. I wish we knew the ref's name. I really do. If this was a different era, we would know the ref's name without question.
If I'd have been looking at the time, I'm sure I could recall if I go back and see who it was. But yeah, just a really rough call. Real jobber of the night material. And I think there's a general consensus with the rest of the panel. And that's the idea, yeah.
All right,
That's
my
fair.
jobber tonight. I think everyone's called it on who I'm going to pick. Josh Briggs. There's nothing else to say. Just Josh Briggs is the job of the night. I already stressed it out earlier.
Oh.
That's fair.
Just real quick, it's for me. It's Ashante. It's Ashante the Adonis. He got laid the f out. He was in an angle that achieved him nothing at all. He is not in a better place than he was before he started it. And yeah, so it sucks for him. It sucks to be him, and he kind of sucks.
I mean, for most of that, the same could be said for Carmen Petrovich as well. Like, it did absolutely nothing for her either.
It
At
was a
least she
squash
was
match.
she was getting. At least she was wrestling on TV still. He had like 2 matches this entire relationship.
Wow. Didn't realize it was that many.
Malik, who's your jobber of the night?
It was Josh, man. It was Josh. Like it was the only guy that I watched NXT after not watching it for a long time, and was like, damn, bro, I figured you'd be further than this. Like, and I know it's not totally his fault because NXT is stacked when it comes to talent. But he was the only thing on my screen that I saw today was like, damn, that's disappointing. So unfortunately, it's Josh Briggs.
Poor Josh. Poor Josh. Cats just attacked cats over there. I don't know if anyone heard the scuffle, but it happened. But
Very
that's
disappointed in Josh Briggs.
Poor Josh. Like, and it is worth saying again. We have spoken about his potential multiple times and how we wanted so badly for him when they split up Fallon Henley, Brooks Jensen and Briggs. We wanted him to do well, and it looked like he was going to. Like at first, he was positioned to do so well, and then just Fallon Henley has left both of those dudes so far behind her. But that is neither here nor there, as it's time to talk about tonight's megastar of the night. Prepare yourself for the horn. The applause lasted longer than I thought it was going to. I was like, all right. Megastars of the night. CJ, sir, you started before. Tell us again, who is your megastar tonight?
For my megastar, I think I'm gonna go with Sol Ruka. I have never shied away from being a Sol Ruka fan, and I think the way they're kind of angling with Zarya, I think they're gonna wind up separating because of the North American Championship. So, whatever this feud ends up doing for her, hopefully it elevates her reign and her championship. I'm trying to think of the word. Um, like you look at her and it's like I can see her as a champion. Like she becomes more credible that way.
Yeah.
So, and she's definitely doing good work toward that goal. So that's why she is my megastar.
Right on.
And then, oh no, you can go first. You can go first. Yeah.
It's this is quick and easy for me, and this is just because it makes me so damn happy. It is Andre motherfucking Chase. Is my megastar tonight. Just because I'm so happy that Chase U is back. beyond thrilled when that briefcase opened and he saw that's I imagine that is the feeling that they got in Pulp Fiction popping over that briefcase. We happy? We happy. Yes, we happy. Chase U is back. My megastar tonight, Andre Chase. Man, maybe do a little something about that hair though. I don't know. There's something like
Hair's fine.
Okay, all right. The Friar Tuck thing works for some people, I guess.
It works.
All right,
It works for him.
It does work.
But so Andre Chase is my megastar tonight.
And then my megastar of the night is going to go for Trick Williams. That was a fire promo that he had set on fire tonight. He basically said, I'm Hollywood Trick. He hit all the notes of what an old school heel is, saying he's better than the company itself. He's the best wrestler in the world, which he has done. And everything he did and said about Joe Hendry tonight, calling him out, calling him a bum, it is a side of Trick we have never seen before that has been boiling ever since Javon Evans had gotten into his business with Obafemi in the NXT title. It's brilliant. He's lasered. He's poised. He wants his title back. It was great work out of him, and he is the megastar of the night because Trick Williams is showing us that he can be a damn good heel.
And very slippery at that.
Except his back. You forgot his back.
He's just a penguin his way.
Yeah, back though.
You had enough bottles of baby oil, Trick. I'm gonna need you to work on that. You had a lifetime supply. My megastar of the night is Roxanne Perez. What are we doing here? Like last time I was up here, or I don't think it was that. Maybe it was a little further on. Last time I was up here for a while, there were people on this panel who were questioning Roxanne Perez as a heel. Were they not? I remember those days.
We
where
were.
People were questioning Roxanne. And I said, hold up. She got it. Just give her some time. She's going to grow on you. Trust me. I see the vision in Roxanne Perez, and she has turned into an absolute superstar, in my opinion. So shout out to Roxanne Perez for proving me right. I love that. I got ragged on early in the show. I had to apologize up here. I waited. I put that in the tuck. I could have said this during the main event, but I didn't. I didn't. That's why I was quiet. I didn't say much because I was waiting for this moment to come on this show and be like, huh? About that Roxanne Perez, huh? That annoying heel turned out pretty well, huh? Yeah, shout out to Roxanne Perez, man. I love to see it. I really do.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, definitely. I guess the revenge was definitely best served cold there. But no, you're absolutely right. Like it slow clicked for me, but it's brilliant. I didn't know she had it in her. She's good at it. I think being that undersized and being a heel is difficult. It's like, honest to God, it's one of the, I think, many reasons that Charlotte Flair has never worked as a face, because she's so damn big. You're bigger than everybody. And, somehow Rhea Ripley pulls it off. I think it's starting to wear off a little bit. I will say that. But just a hair. People are starting to turn on a little bit, but that's just also the nature of wrestling. But she's so little. And I was worried for her. And she also adapted though. She quit doing pop rocks as her finish for a long stretch of time. She was focusing on the crossface. If she did pop rocks, it was immediately into the crossface after. She showed aggression. And yeah, she won me over. So yeah, you were 100% right, Willie. Without question. I had to backtrack a bunch of stuff I said.
It's my heel meter, man. My heel meter is never wrong, except for Sol Ruka. She hasn't crossed over yet. I was disappointed. She was going to be my jobber of the night, but I didn't want to be cruel.
Wow.
Yes,
TJ might have fought you.
Yeah.
TJ might have fought you, sir.
That is
jobber of the night because she hasn't turned heel yet, and I'm waiting for that. She teased me with the all black and stuff. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah, it's okay. It'll happen.
Yeah, that just means you got swerved. You can't hold that against her.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, quick question though. Her finisher, the Soul Snatcher, do you think that's long term? Because I I keep seeing her legs catch the ropes, and it's concerning me because of all the injuries that we've seen. Do you think the soul snatcher is going to be like a permanent finisher going on, or is that going to be something that she pulls out like once in a while?
She might need something else. She might need something else just for safety's sake. But
Yeah.
because it's a cool move.
It is.
It is.
It's a real cool move, but it's one of those moves where it's just like it's got to line up really well because she's had a couple that haven't looked stellar, and it's just about that positioning. It's similar to Athena doing the springboard stunner. Which by the way, first time I ever saw that. I saw it live. I'd never seen her work before, did not know her name before I saw her in Chicago. It was ROH Night of Hoopla, hosted by Truth Martini. I went silent for like 88 seconds. I know that's very specific, but and oddly enough, that wasn't the most stunning thing I saw. I watched Delirious eat pizza off the floor that night.
Well, it's fucking Delirious at that point. What do we expect out of him?
Yeah. But I guess.
Depending on what was on that floor, he might have been literally delirious.
It was the back of a bar. It couldn't have been good.
Jesus.
But I do feel like she needs a different finish. Just something that's just that it's a little easier to line up. I mean, granted, it's in theory, it's a move anybody should be able to take. You have to stand there and fall down. So size shouldn't be a factor. You're not having to get somebody up over your head or anything. But you're right. She's had a real couple close calls with her heels on those ropes.
And plus, honestly, she can always just, instead of doing the soul snatcher with the flip and the cutter, honestly, she can just hit a mid-rope cutter as well, or just do a springboard cutter. She doesn't have to do the flip. Honestly, she should be able to just pull it out once in a while, but it is time to at least just try to focus on her longevity in her career, because eventually that's gonna hurt her when she doesn't have that right timing down, and we've already seen it that is starting to become a factor. So why not take the flip out? Just do a cutter. Just do it. Because I honestly think she should, just because Javon Evans or Randy Orton and Cody Rhodes has a cutter. It's professional wrestling now. Everyone's hitting a cutter these days. She can keep it. Exactly.
I mean, and technically it is a DDT. It's a front face DDT if you want to get super duper technical about it. But somewhere Johnny Ace is like, yeah, kid, you tell him.
Now, to be fair, though, I mean, it is her career, and if she wants to continue to use that move, then all power to her. If she continues to land it safely 100 times out of 100, then excellent. I hope she does.
Yeah, but yeah. So we'll see. She's a very athletic, gymnastic-based person. And also, and again, I mentioned this. Why I keep bringing up fashion. I'm going to have to write a wrestling fashion article at some point. But just like I said about Ava bringing back the early 2000s fashions, Sol Rook is doing the same thing. And the reason I pointed out is because she's doing the high on the hip thong, the side of it, and it's you kind of stop seeing that probably around 2006. But she's bringing it back.
After Lita stopped doing it, everyone stopped doing it.
But I'm listening to this too. This shit's making me feel old because stuff that was fashionable when I was young is now becoming popular for people who are young. And I am it's April 30th now. I'm 24 hours from 40. So yeah, the shit makes me feel old. But guys, so that's NXT in a nutshell, guys. Anything else at all before we get into the closing ceremonies, as it would be? All right. Well, then I think it's time for me to hit the music, and we'll hit this out here, guys. Thank you all for tuning in live. We appreciate it very much. And if you had a good time tonight, well, I've got fantastic news for you. We're not just here covering NXT. No. Dirt Sheet Radio is here all the time because professional wrestling never stops. We are here Monday nights for Raw, Tuesday nights for NXT. On Wednesday nights, you can check out the Dirt Sheet Radio flagship program, which also includes the recap for AEW. 2 shows for one price, which is free, as all the shows are. Thursday nights, we got TNA Impact. Fridays are, of course, for SmackDown or SmackSound, as the logo says. And then on the weekends, CJ and I try to do the Weekend Wrestling Roundup when we can. We're hoping to bring it back to y'all very soon so we can talk a lot of LFG. And Malik, what happens every Sunday?
3 and T. Y'all already know what it is. 3 p.m. Anywhere you at. Facebook, Instagram, live on Dirt Sheet Radio. Come kick it with the guys.
Hell yeah. So lots of programs. It's nonstop, guys. It's nonstop. But before we roll out of here tonight, guys, CJ, I will start with you. We'll go around the table. Tell everyone where they can find you online and where they can see you next.
Don't find me online. I'm closed. That side of my life is just finished. I have no social following. Yeah, I try and make it every Tuesday. I try to make it every Sunday for the weekly wrestling roundup. Might be seeing me on more Mondays in the near future, but that might be a little ways yet. In the meantime, just keep watching Dirt Sheet Radio.
Mm-hmm.
Malik?
You want to go next?
Nope. Robbie, go ahead.
All right, and obviously, guys, you can find me. I'm always commenting on our Dirt Sheet post. I'll try to do it every day as best I can. I'm right there, Robert Ward, ROARK. Honestly, you can just type my name over on Instagram as well. And also, you can find me on this Friday as the WCW Boys. You can join me, Neek, Mac, as we will be covering WCW Starrcade 1985 on this Friday as we cover the juicy gossip of everything going behind Dusty Rhodes taking on Ric Flair once again in that one. And also, and I don't know when we'll be doing the AEW Dynamite recap again. You might see me on that again as soon as we get it going. Hopefully we do. And it looks like I'll be in the mainstay on Tuesday nights for NXT.
I'm back, baby. I'm so fucking back. You can find me here Tuesdays, NXT recap every week. I'm back. Also, you can find me on Sunday, 3NT Wrestling. Come chop it up at the guys. And if you want to see me in person, and also if you want to see Cedric Alexander in his first match since being cut from WWE, ready or not, May 10th, New Bern, North Carolina. Get your tickets, upwonline.net. Get them there, selling out real fast. We're a week away. Let's get it.
Woo! Hell yeah!
Hell yeah.
We heard people.
Do it if you're in the area. Get down there. Wish I was closer. Wish I was.
I even told Danny I wanted to fly in, but it's just too much damn money for me to fly
It's all
in.
good, brother.
It's economy.
Good. It's all
But,
good.
I'm still glad to be Canadian, but man, like, I'd go.
Let's go.
We suffering.
Yeah, I'd sneak over the border for that.
There you go. But Malik, man, it is good to have you back on the show again. Appreciate you being here, man. We
Missed y'all,
so happy
man.
to
Yes,
have you
sir.
back. And
Yes,
Robbie,
sir. Yes,
it's good to
sir.
have you as the newest addition to the crew here.
Yes.
And y'all, I'm Tyler, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. This is Molly. You can find me mostly on Facebook, the Pro Wrestling Hipster. After you follow Dirt Sheet Radio and all of these gentlemen, except for CJ, because he's on social media now. I don't follow him. Don't look for him. He's not there. You'll never find him.
I
Cloak of
follow him.
invisibility. Oh shit!
I follow him.
Oh!
I mean, I am still there. I just don't use it.
Fair enough. But after you give all those guys a follow, give me a follow too over on Facebook. And guys, thank you again so very much for tuning in. Dirt Sheet Radio will be back live again tomorrow. We'll see you then, guys. Have a wonderful night.
Yeet.